project. So if you remember in the last video we were playing around with houses and population, and it didn't entirely work because there wasn't always a house visible. It wasn't exactly a huge problem, but it was a definite problem, and realistically there wasn't a quick fix that I found. So for the moment I've left it as is, and we'll keep it for a separate video. Today we'll work on just houses and stuff. In the next following videos we'll probably work on the generation itself. So if we go into the controller, I'll just quickly show you. This drawer is drawing it in the wrong place. It's starting from the wrong position, so the grid itself is fine. It's just drawing it wrong. I made a few changes as well since the last video. In the controller's create event, I've changed the width and the height to 20. I don't know what they were last time, I've forgotten. But again, I'll go through why they're just set values at the moment. In the future we'll be able to change them to be like, I think I had it at one point set to room width divided by tile width, which would be ideal, but in this case it doesn't work because the generation's all screwed up. But yeah, going back to the room as well, I've added a kind of little view and I've made the room a bit bigger itself. So the room is now 500 by 500. This could be whatever you want, to be honest. I might make it a little bit smaller because it looked a little bit odd. Actually, I'll keep it as this just so I can show you the problem that we have. I've also added a view 0. I've just had really simple, they were the old room size, and then just, you know, hang 100 around basic unit. Again, we'll change that later, it's just to give us a bit of a feel for it. So this is what happens when you load it up in these settings. So first off, the player is completely off. It's not in the center of these tiles, but that's not the main problem. The main problem is that obviously it comes in like this and there. So just click off it. What it's actually doing in this scenario is it's starting from this point and kind of working its way up almost, or alternatively it's starting from the top and working its way down. Now this makes a very nice shape that looks practically identical to these sprites that we've got, but just bigger. That's great, but obviously if we just run it again, you can see that there's a huge bit here that isn't in show. If you imagine this as a big diamond almost, then you can see there's a huge bit that's not on show. We can never get to it. It's not within the room, so we need to sort that out in later videos. But for the moment we're going to work on the houses. So the way we're going to go about this is just every time we place down a house, we're going to add to the population. That's basically it. Every time we destroy a house, we haven't added in yet, but every time we do eventually destroy houses, then we would change that as well. We would minus then. So we're going to have another mouse press event for this. At the moment we're not going to require any wood or anything. We're just going to say if we press the right button, so it's going to be a global one, right pressed, and for the most part we can just copy this over. So this gives us the tile, this whole bit here. We can just copy this in straight away, with object basic unit of course, and we'll change this to tile X and tile Y. This gives us a grid coordinate, I believe, which is very useful. It converts mouse to grid coordinates. So we might put that in a script at some point. For the moment we'll just keep it as this, but it probably will come in useful later on. I normally do tend to put these kind of things in scripts anyway, just for the sake of reusing them. But now we know the tile X and tile Y, we can then set it to that. So to do this, global.tilegrid, tile X, tile y equals sprite tile house. We've set it to a house. Great. We've got one more thing to do though, of course, is to add to the population. So it is just population. Object overlay dot population plus equals 5. So each house is going to count to 5. Give this a run. Okay, not quite worked out. Right, yeah, we haven't set some variables, so when we copied it over, we've forgotten to copy this bit over as well. So we do in fact need to copy the whole thing over, just a few changes and additions to it. It's actually very similar. Okay, out of bounds apparently. Quite a long way out of bounds there as well. I think, to be honest, yeah, if we click in the corner. So let's just check that they are going up in the even amounts. So yeah, they are. They're going up in the right amounts. Which is peculiar because the movement still does work. Let's, for the moment, get rid of the view and change the room size back to normal, because I believe that might be causing the problem. So let's disable viewports, and it was 240 by 200. This should probably set it back to normal, hopefully. Oh dear, okay, it's tiny. But it still doesn't work. Okay, let's re-enable the viewports then, I guess. But let's do that. I think as is, that should just make the whole thing bigger. Yep, that's fine. We can't still add the tiles though, which is odd, because we can still move, which is basically directly copied from this. So the only thing that I can, let's just check where the NX is actually being used, because I might have got my things muddled up. My variables, yes, I have. This doesn't actually, I think this is converting, I don't know what this is converting actually. I think what we want is to just abolish this entirely and just change this to tile X. I don't know why, but for some reason I believe we've done a really weird way of doing the left pressed. Okay, so it's not erroring. Okay, it's just like a few off almost. Yeah, it's a set number off. It's also not adding to the population. That is very weird. I mean, if it is just a constant number off, which I believe it is, and we can test it by just, yeah, I think it is just a set number off, which yeah, so it's quite a few off on the X, I believe, which is weird. Let's just say -5 and see if that gets closer or further away. Okay. So that might have got it spot on the X, I'm not sure. Let's try, oops, we didn't mean to do that. Okay, yeah, that's put it way out. That's kind of odd, that. Yeah, that's putting it quite a long way off as well. It's purely though because we have just copied the code over. It's not directly new or anything. My only thought is that, yeah, hang on, yeah, we do in fact need to convert this back. Let's reconvert them. Basically we have to do this, but don't times it by the tile width and height, I think. We'll give this a go. If it doesn't work, then again I'll leave it. There's no point us wasting time not doing anything. So we'll pop these in. The tile X and tile Y's don't actually necessarily correlate. Mouse grid, oh yeah, that's meant to be tile. Actually, yeah, we do need to change these to mouse grid X and Y, otherwise they'll get overwritten and stuff. So that's mouse grid Y, oh, X even. This one is mouse grid Y, and then yeah, let's run that. Okay, that's kind of closer. It's still incredibly buggy and not right at all, but I guess we can work with that in a bit. But for the moment I think I'm gonna have to leave that as is. I can't see why that's not working exactly. There's probably some mathematical problem going on there, but I'll have a look at it in between episodes. Anyway, this is going to be it for this video. If you liked the video, remember to like, subscribe, or do you guys want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.